And let's just talk about the crash for 1 second. More specifically, the parenting style that Mackenzie's parents have had and the direct result of how she has acted and the consequences to her action. Don't mind this. Guys, don't mind this, okay? Because I have a 1-year-old and you know those fidget toys? Well, I stuck it to my head and that's the result of that. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So Mackenzie Shrilla's parents are what I would define as permissive parenting, which is very high reward, warmth, responsiveness, very low demands and boundaries set with the child. These parents are more like friends than authority figures. Just to avoid confrontation, they rarely enforce rules or consequences to the boundary breaking that they have in place. And that leads to a child having self-regulation issues and behavioral issues, as we saw in the documentary. And a direct example of that is the multiple reports that she had throughout her school year of her verbally assaulting her teachers or other classmates. And her father really sat on that video and was like, there was one day I came into the principal's office and she was bawling. I looked at her, I asked her, did you do that? She said no, and he said, that's good enough for me. Yanked her out. Nothing comes of it, right? Nothing came of it. He was just like, I'm gonna take you at your word. That's good enough for me. No consequence. Get out of here. It doesn't matter what you did. That's just insane. Quite frankly, that is a direct result of her poor impulse and poor regulation. She's gonna struggle in school and in a work environment with any authority that's telling her what to do. And her mom and dad are just, oh, well, it's just her mouth that gets her in trouble. It's just, she's just a kid being a kid. When there was a history of how she was constantly acting with no consequence to that behavior. The kid, the 17-year-old kid who's probably done this for years, is gonna keep doing it that way. Parents that teach in a permissive parenting style are also going to lead to kids that have a sense of entitlement. And that was clearly shown in the documentary where she was texting Dom, it's my way or the highway. She very clearly felt, I'm gonna get my way, or I'm gonna ruin your house, your car, your friends, your life. That's something to be on the lookout for. So it just showed that her impulse is not controlled in the state that she was in because she got her way. There was no other way that it was gonna go. So in my opinion, 100% is on her parents. Yes, she took those actions, but we are a product of our environment that we are raised in. Who raised her? Her parents. Who let her continue to act that way? Her parents. Who let her date a senior while she was a freshman? They have a 3-year age difference. Who clearly, RIP to Dom, he's a dealer. That was very clear. He was a dealer. He bought her gifts. He did this. And trust me, I get it. I was that, 14-year-old? I was dating an 18-year-old at the time who was a dealer and who was doing that. And that's on my mom. That's on my parents. Why did you let me do that? I was a freaking child. You could have said no, blah, 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 blocked it down, shut it down. No, it just got let down. It was just what they did. They just let her do it. Luckily, I mean, and that was a very toxic relationship for me too. I was a little bit crazy in that one. I was a child. I acted a certain way. I reacted a certain way. Never killed him. Never thought to kill him. But in my mind, like, the thought was to KMS. So, you know, a little bit different situation there, but I can relate in that way. That is a child dating an older adult due to the lifestyle that they have and are providing. And it really was on my mom and my parents to cut that out and shut it down. And the same with her parents. Her parents didn't do that. They let her move in. I graduated at 17 too, so I understand. At 17, I moved in with my then boyfriend, not the older one, different boyfriend, but I moved in at that time too, just being 17. But I mean, we learn from our parents, right? We learn from the stuff that they did. I would never let Octavia do the things that I did as far as dating someone so much older and thinking that we're so much, and or moving out and living with their way much older boyfriend at 17 years old. I won't. You're a minor. You don't get a choice. Sorry, hate me when you're 18. That's the way it is. I'm gonna do the best I can while you're a minor and you're in my care. I think my favorite parents on that show were going to be Davion's parents, because Dom's dad just seems completely aloof. I don't know, maybe him and Dom's mom and Dom's dad don't talk, because it's mentioned that Dom's mom was the one that was mostly around because they lived so close to her. And Dom's dad had super high hopes for his kid, which I would too. If I had a child, I want high hopes for them. But the reality was, I mean, he was dealing. Like, that's, I know he had goals and dreams, but when you're dealing, you're in an addictive substance such as shrooms, because they weren't just smoking weed, guys. Like, they were experimenting with other substances, which again, I can relate to. I started doing that when I was 14 with older people. I understand the situation. Davion's parents were the only ones who, that real one quote that stuck with me, where he said to Davion, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." And that really lined it out for me as far as saying that, yeah, he's being a parent, exactly, because who you surround yourself with is ultimately what you're gonna end up like. And for a long time, specifically with me, of surrounding myself with those people, it definitely was that route that was not the best that I could be, and not where I wanted to go for my future. So I stick by Davion's parents. I thought the POTS medical condition is actually crazy, and that Mackenzie can sit in jail and still say, well, it was something medical that happened that night. Absolutely not. I'm red from itching. They couldn't even produce a medical expert to testify how that condition was. And the fact that the defense put her mother on the trial and said, so your daughter has POTS and you decided to walk her to the BMV and get her a license, and her mom like stood by that and was like, well, yeah, she had it managed at the time. Okay, lady, then that's it. There was nothing that had to do with medical condition. She's been seen smoking and driving in multiple videos, multiple scenarios. A irrational impulse regulation problem that she was so mad at some point or whatever that she could not control that impulse, and at that point she wanted to, and she said, I'm gonna take you guys with me. Sorry, like, that's just the way it is. As we go back to the my way or the highway, the entitlement, the self-regulation problems, the behavioral problems, this is all, again, tie back to her parents. And I fully blame her parents, and she does have responsibility in that, because now you're an adult, and no matter how anyone was raised, it's on you as an adult to go and change your behavior, how you were raised, right? Like, I could sit around as an adult and be like, oh, I'm so this way because my mom raised me this way, or my dad wasn't around in this way, so I don't have this. I'd be freaking miserable, or I could do what I've done and go to therapy, fix what I need to fix. It's no longer my parents' problems. I'm an adult. I'm a grown adult. It's my time to go do that. So yeah, she was 17, but I think I agree again with Davion's parents, as the worst thing that could be done for Mackenzie is for her parents to coddle her through this system and through this time, telling her, you're so innocent, you did nothing wrong, blah, blah, blah. Because at the end of the day, she did do something wrong, because she didn't have the right skills to do something right, and that's on the parents, and they should go back and evaluate that. But she did do something wrong. It was a horrible, horrible incident, and it could have been avoided if we try to stomp out permissive parenting. And that's just my point of view on it. Honestly, I'm not an expert, I'm not a professional, so take what I say with a grain of salt, and if you don't like it, keep scrolling. Okay, bye.